I just read an article in the Wall Street Journal that says the IRS wants to look at your bank account. That's all the more reason to house your money offshore. Now pay your taxes, follow the laws, but for privacy, hold your money offshore, not in your own name, but in an offshore LLC name. You can go ahead and call us and we can give you more information. So the next time you check your bank account online, just imagine that Uncle Sam is looking over your shoulder the whole time. It's as if your annual tax filing wasn't invasive enough to your financial privacy. Now the Biden administration wants to look at your checking account. And if you think this message should get out there so the country knows about it, please help me out by clicking the like button below so YouTube promotes it. And if you want to see more videos like this, please click the subscribe button. It's free to do. And the benefit to you is that YouTube puts more of my videos toward the top of your YouTube feed so that when more videos come out like this one, you'll be up to date right away. Now, just to be clear, this is a business channel, not a political channel. It's not our job here to pick sides. But if it affects your money and your business, it's fair game. Charles Reddick, the Commissioner of the Internal Revenue Service, wants banks to report annual cash flows for ordinary account holders. In addition, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is promoting the plan to the House Ways and Means Committee, and they're debating whether to include this mandate in the Democrats' $3.5 trillion spending bill. And she also says this reporting will help to catch wealthy tax dodgers. In a recent letter to the committee, she said the plan would reveal opaque income streams that disproportionately accrue to the top. Okay, well, it doesn't matter whether the threshold amount for the preemptive Internal Revenue Service snooping is $600, $10,000, or any other amount of cash flow. In our constitutional republic, the presumption of innocence and due process are basic tenets. Okay, so what they're saying is, I'm sure the people are all hiding their money in the bank. However, the Fourth Amendment is clear. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against the unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. For the all-powerful IRS to cast a population-wide fishing net in the hopes of catching a few guilty individuals spits in the face of due process and the presumption of innocence. This is crazy. Had I not seen this in the Wall Street Journal, I would have thought it was a spoof article in The Onion. And that's right, the federal government is toying with the concept that they can look into our bank accounts without reason. What, are we going to have to give them the key to our house next so they can walk in unannounced anytime they want to and without reason? We're sitting at the dinner table minding our own business and you hear the key slide into the keyhole and 7 guys in suits walk around your house opening drawers and cupboards just because they feel like it? Every time the government tries to move to take away our personal freedom, people get smart to the idea. I hope the head of Wells Fargo and Bank of America and Citibank and JP Morgan Chase are listening right now. I'm sure this is not going to encourage people to deposit money in their banks. There's going to be a flood of money going offshore just because we're not going to put up with it around here. Law-abiding citizens should not be forced to strip naked in front of a panel of government officials, in a financial sense here, for no justifiable cause whatsoever. It's going to destroy or at least erode the U.S. banking industry as we know it. They get to review every account with a balance above $600 just because those are the filthy rich tax dodgers they're going to nab. And if you're sick of it like I am, just give us a call at 1-800-959-8819 or visit offshorecompany.com and fill out a free consultation form. We have attorneys on staff and we'll set up an offshore company and bank account. And again, this is tax neutral. It's not to decrease your taxes or increase them for that matter. And no, it's not a red flag to the IRS. The IRS doesn't care if you have an offshore bank account. They just want to make sure that you pay your taxes. So pay your taxes. By the way, this proposal isn't about taxes, it's about control. So if you're the type that treasures personal freedom, give us a call. Now, when setting up an international account, the bank is going to have to know who you are. So if somebody asks for your money, they need to know it's really you asking. So they're going to want some identifying information. They call it due diligence. And they want to make sure you're a good guy with good, clean money and not a bad guy. And then there are those who ask about bank safety offshore. Go ahead, ask about bank safety. Ever look up the safest banks in the world? A new world's safest banks list just came out. People worried about the safety of offshore banks? They should be more worried about the safety of U.S. banks. In fact, here's the summary. Out of the 50 safest banks, only 4 of those banks are in the United States. In other words, 46 of the world's safest banks are outside the U.S. In fact, all 4 of the U.S. banks are on the bottom half of the safest banks in the world list. No national U.S. banks made the list, not even one. All U.S. banks on the list are tiny farming banks. That's it. No other U.S. banks made the list but tiny farming banks. Now somebody says, yeah, but they're backed by the FDIC. Okay, so they're backed up by the most in-debt country in the world? So this new IRS proposal is not about wealthy people. It's about everybody. It's about control. It's like a communist ideal where the government dictates and you just have to line up and take it. In fact, I just also read a ProPublica article. Leaked documents showed in 2007 Jeff Bezos, then a multimillionaire and now one of the world's richest men, did not pay a penny in federal income taxes. He achieved the feat again in 2011. Then in 2018, Tesla founder Elon Musk, also one of the richest men in the world, also paid no federal income taxes. Michael Bloomberg managed to do the same in recent years. Billionaire investor Carl Icahn did it twice. George Soros paid no federal income taxes 3 years in a row. So our privacy is being eroded. And if you want privacy, going offshore, having money in a company account instead of your own name can give you a big boost. Now, it can't guarantee privacy, but it can enhance it in a huge way. It's like putting on a seatbelt and having airbags in your car. Airbag deployment reduced mortality by 63%, and a lap shoulder belt reduced mortality 72%. So they don't guarantee you're not going to die in a car crash, but they sure put the odds in your favor greater than not having them. Now, 23 state treasurers and auditors signed a letter last month opposing the plan, calling it one of the largest infringements of data privacy in our nation's history. Nebraska Treasurer John Marotti says his state won't comply if the reporting rule takes effect. So just watch the flood of offshore banks with U.S. money from U.S. people. Offshore banking will just be a normal, everyday thing because of this government overreach. Just watch. You want to get an offshore bank account while you still can. Once it's open, it's open. This is going to create a flood of distrust. Plus, the cost for banks to build systems to report this and comply with this is expected to run into the billions of dollars. As if coronavirus wasn't enough of a toll, if there's anything that should be private, it's our bank accounts. I mean, this shouldn't be like some third world country where you can't trust the banking system, so you have to dig a big hole in your backyard and hope somebody doesn't find it. There's a gentleman who serves as the valet at the country club I belong to, and he kept 30 years of his tips in a spare bedroom in his house. He had over $300,000 of cash in that room. One of his friends wrestled the key out of his hand, and when he was gone, went in there and cleaned him out. $300,000 gone. So we need banks, but we need banks that respect our privacy. Yet the IRS plans to review every account above a $600 balance or with more than $600 of transactions in a year. So every American with a job could get looked at. A group of 41 industry groups recently warned congressional leaders that the plan is not remotely targeted to detect major tax avoidance. The House continues to debate the bank account proposal, but the spending bill already includes $80 billion for the IRS to hire thousands of new staffers. Treasury estimates that those changes could collect $700 billion in revenue over the coming decades. But Representative Kevin Brady, the top Republican on the Ways and Means Committee, points out that the tax gap is murkier than the Democrats admit. Overestimating the results of greater enforcement lets the Biden administration attach a higher revenue number to its multi-trillion-dollar spending proposal, and that's bad enough, but the bigger threat of giving the IRS access to the details of your bank account is that politicians will eventually find a way to control how you save and spend your own money. That's a bad idea, and it deserves to die. If you agree, please click like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Thanks for watching. This is The Business Guy.